Good Friday evening, May 24th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The Rock Island man who spent nearly 6 years in jail awaiting trial for his wife's murder may soon be transferred to a state prison. A man who allegedly ran away from Chelan County Sheriff's deputies in Leavenworth on Monday night wound up needing their help early Tuesday. We'll tell you why coming up. Expect a cool and windy start to our Memorial Day weekend with sunshine and temperatures near 80 on Monday. Your local forecast is straight ahead. A Winthrop motorcyclist is dead and his passenger critically injured following a head-on collision on Highway 97A Thursday afternoon. The Washington State Patrol says 59-year-old Wilhelm M. Penders and his passenger Christine L. Dunn, age 60, were northbound on a BMW motorcycle just before 5 p.m. when Penders moved into the southbound lane attempting to pass a vehicle. The motorcycle struck an oncoming 2003 Nissan head-on. The two riders were thrown and Penders later died at Confluence Health Hospital Central Campus in Wenatchee. Dunn was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. The driver of the Nissan, Marcos Huerta, 32 years old of Chelan, was taken by ambulance to Confluence Health with unknown injuries. The accident fully blocked the highway near the Navarre-Cooley Road for over 2 hours. 3 current or former law enforcement officers are in the running to be Wenatchee's new police chief. Police captains Brian Chance and Edgar Reinfeld are 2 local applicants for the job. Both are currently among the department's administrative commanders. The third candidate is Doug Shoemaker, who resigned in March as police chief of Denton, Texas, and previously led departments in Grand Junction, Colorado, and Jefferson City, Missouri. The city has been searching for a successor to outgoing Chief Steve Crown, whose tenure ends next month. There'll be a public meet and greet on June 3rd at City Hall where citizens can meet and talk with all 3 applicants. The public will also be able to give feedback on their preferred hire on a comment card or by email. The Columbia River Drug Task Force is seeking a special designation from the federal government that would grant it more resources to seek and arrest suspected drug criminals. The multi-agency police team wants to petition the U.S. Office of National Drug Control Policy to name Chelan County a high-intensity drug trafficking area. Task Force Coordinator Ryan Moody with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office says if it's approved, the designation could come with new funding, training, and assistance from federal law enforcement. Grant County was named a high-intensity drug trafficking area in 2020. The task force includes agents from all 4 Wenatchee Valley Police and Sheriff's agencies, as well as the Department of Corrections. The Rock Island man who spent nearly 6 years in jail awaiting trial for his wife's murder may soon be transferred to a state prison. 74-year-old Uli Tuililo is charged in the 2018 death of his wife Peggy, allegedly in a domestic violence assault. Last week, Douglas County Judge Brian Huber approved Tuililo's motion to be held by the Washington Department of Corrections after the Chelan County Jail recorded 2 confidential phone calls between the defendant and his attorney. Inmate calls are routinely recorded unless the number they speak to is registered with the jail. Jail staff say they did not listen to the content of those conversations, but Huber ruled May 17th that the recording has a chilling effect on Tuililo's attorney-client privilege. Jail Chief of Operations Sean Larson told the court last week he's requested to board Tuililo in a state facility. The DOC has yet to make a decision on that request. When we come back, on Wednesday, U.S. Senator Patty Murray announced that $75 million in funding would be dedicated to Washington State fish passage and habitat projects, a portion of which will go to Chelan County. The Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority has been awarded the 2024 Job Creator Award by the Washington Public Ports Association. And the city of Leavenworth and various partners started a campaign this year to keep garbage and compost locked up to help deter hungry black bears. We'll tell you more about that as well. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Ruggability. We straight made that word up. How else to describe the otherwise indescribable rugged, capable, incredible versatility and affordability of a Honda SUV? Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com calls Honda the best value brand. EPA says Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. But we like ruggability, and you'll like the Incredifantabulous deals, so see your Inland Northwest Honda dealer today. Honda can handle it.
So, how's Evan?
Well, he's all grown up now, but I worry about him.
So many dangers in the world. COVID, the environment, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, I hear opioid misuse is on the rise.
I don't even know how to start a conversation with him.
This might help. GetTheFactsRx.com. There's a whole section on how to talk about opioids with your family.
Offer support, not judgment. Cool.
Talk to your family about the dangers of opioids. Visit GetTheFactsRx.com.
I think we already have the legendary pizza, really, and I hope it just continues.
We have a free pizza slip. We get free pizzas, and if something happened to Abby's, we wouldn't have free pizza anymore. Think about that, huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Every day is Taco Tuesday at Abby's. Our Taco Especial is on sale 7 days a week, loaded with beef or chicken, onions, olives, tomatoes, cheddar cheese, and lettuce. It's a pizza that you won't forget. Dine in or order online for takeout or delivery right to your door.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
A man who allegedly ran away from Chelan County Sheriff's deputies in Leavenworth on Monday night wound up needing their help early Tuesday when he became stuck on a small island in the Wenatchee River. Deputies and firefighters from Chelan County Fire District 3 were alerted just after 8:30 a.m. to the stranded 60-year-old man who'd spent the night on the island after fleeing from an earlier police contact and then jumping into the river. A fire department rescue swimmer and a passing fishing boat help him back to shore. Deputies said the man suffered hypothermia but was otherwise uninjured. Court records don't show that he's been charged with any crime. On Wednesday, U.S. Senator Patty Murray announced that $75 million in funding would be dedicated to Washington State fish passage and habitat projects, a portion of which will go to Chelan County. The funding comes from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and Inflation Reduction Act and is dedicated to projects under the Restoring Fish Passage Through Burial Remover Grants Program. The Chelan County Wenatchee Basin Fish Burial Removal Project is set to receive $1.6 million of the total awarded funding. The project will replace culverts and increase habitat for endangered salmon through the addition of wood complexes and reconnecting side channels. The Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority has been awarded the 2024 Job Creator Award by the Washington Public Ports Association for their work on the Microsoft data center projects. The port's successful recruitment of the data centers is estimated to bring in an approximately $2.4 billion investment to each county. The center in each county will have 6 buildings, and roughly 75 jobs will be created per building. These centers are now the largest single private investment of each county to date. The port says the investments will generate significant revenues that can be invested into the local communities. The city of Leavenworth and various partners started a campaign this year to keep garbage and compost locked up to help deter hungry black bears. But the new bear-resistant containers are only as efficient as the humans who use them. Last Sunday, the city had to close part of its trail system around the Wenatchee River Institute for about 24 hours after a bear got into a food composting container, ate its fill, and went to sleep in a nearby tree. The container had been accidentally accidentally left unlatched, giving the bear free access. WRI notified the city and the Department of Fish and Wildlife as soon as the bear incursion was noticed. Coming up next, if you need historical data on how almost any Wenatchee sports team has performed over time, Bruce Bennett is probably your guy. In tonight's feature story, Bruce will tell us where his love of numbers comes from. Cooler and windy tomorrow with sunshine and much warmer temperatures by Monday. I'll have all the details coming up in your full Memorial Day weekend weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
The Lake Chelan Chamber of Commerce presents Wonders of Wooden Avenue.
Welcome to the newest and funnest fashion boutique on Wooden, featuring mountain chic clothing and men's footwear from UGG, Brixton, Sorel, and Free People. Walk on into the Tiffany Blue Building on the second block of Wooden and check it out.
It is nearly impossible to describe what you'll find in Lush Life. It's an eclectic collection of items from around the world. See it for yourself at the corner of Wooden and Emerson.
Wonders of Wooden Avenue, North Central Washington's premier shopping district.
Headaches, neck or back pain, been injured in a car accident, a work injury or fall? Studies show that whiplash causes pain year after year. Your neck is supposed to be curved and acts like a spring to absorb shock, but when it's damaged, it straightens or reverses, and this causes headaches and pain. The solution is our specialized comprehensive combination care. You need our team of professionals who will address every point of your injury with very specific equipment and skill. Stop by Wenatchee or Leavenworth for a free consultation.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Round, NCWLIFE channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held each year on the third Saturday in June. Pick your thrill from 3 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, or the Lake Loop. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
Well, if you need historical data on how almost any Wenatchee sports team has performed over time, Bruce Bennett is probably your guy. At 81, Bruce has become known as the resident stats collector for North Central Washington teams, including Prep Sports, Wenatchee Valley College, and the Apple Sox, compiling scores that go back to the earliest days of local athletics. His emailed newsletter, The Bruce Report, catches readers up on the latest wins and losses and much more. In tonight's feature story, I spoke with Bruce recently about how sports stats became his passion project. You're known as the statistorian.
Statistorian, that was a name given to me by Greg Franz. And Greg Franz, several years ago, statistorian. And so I have kind of used that. Well, that's pretty good because it kind of covers things. Well, I've actually probably started, I don't know, 6th, 7th grade, someplace in there, a little tabletop game called All-Star Baseball. And I used to play whole games and keep scoring on that thing. So that's probably where it got started, is all the way back about then. And then it just went on from there. Every place I've gone, I've been scorekeeper, or I've just accumulated and kept stats for the local school.
So how long have you been doing it in Wenatchee then?
This is 19th or 20th year. Yeah.
So tell folks how you get your information. It's more than just looking at a newspaper. You sometimes have to travel. You had to stay overnight maybe in place, went to a libraries, that kind of thing.
Well, yes. For the actual events, I didn't have to travel. But I've traveled, basically I got a lot of the stuff out of the University of Washington Library, microfilm of Walla Walla, Tri-City, Yakima, and Columbia Herald papers, what I couldn't get here. I spent hours and hours on several trips over the UW Library. And I spent a lot of hours down here, several days worth of hours here. So that's where, and then the internet, you pick it up off of that. But now it's practically all the internet. But for the history, to dig back, you had to go back through these newspapers and the annuals up at the school,
So how did the Bruce report come about?
I was accumulating all this stuff, and I go, there may be interest in other people's parts. So that's why I just started sending it out. And I started out, I basically had football and basketball for the high school, and I had basketball for the college. And then it evolved in there, so I started doing every sport for the college, every sport for the high school, and did it every week for 17 weeks. I sent that thing, 17 years, I'm sorry, I sent that thing out, yeah.
Are you still doing it?
No.
We do get a couple of things from you a year, but not as much as we used to.
No, I just sent, I'll send another one out this week. Just kind of the weekly one finally got, when you're in the business, you got deadlines. And the deadlines, just every single week having to hit that thing, it just got a little bit more than I could bear after. So I just cut off the weekly ones. But I do enjoy getting out some special stuff once in a while when I get a bunch of stuff put together, send it out, and I get good responses back from that.
Why do you love it? Is it because you want things to be official, that you want things to be the way they should be, or is it just the love of numbers?
Well, it's probably both. Yeah, it's nice to have some history there because in most cases there's none. I basically am the official statistician for the Big Nine. Nobody does it, and I'm surprised.
So do you ever think you'll stop completely?
Well, as long as I'm living here and mentally, hopefully, and physically able, I'll probably do it. If we move, that may be the end of it.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Friday. Temperature-wise, it wasn't all that bad, but boy, we didn't see much sun. And then, as we look out our weather window from this afternoon, some showers, very light shower activity moved through our area. And this is a shot from McNeil Canyon back at Lake Chelan. And you can see some of those light showers moving across the lake. We had a little bit of that in the Wenatchee area as well. And some pretty decent rain, a little farther up into Lake Wenatchee. That should come to an end as we move into our Memorial Day weekend. There's still about a 10 to 20% chance that we'll see an isolated shower for Saturday. I think highs will be basically in the mid-60s for Saturday. Sunday a little warmer, about 70. I think we'll see partly cloudy skies for Saturday, or Sunday rather. And then as we get you into Memorial Day Monday, I think we're going to see quite a bit of sunshine and much warmer temperatures. We're going to be in the higher end of this temperature scale with temperatures near 80 degrees. So just have a little patience as we get into this long weekend. 67, our unofficial high temperature today. 74 is where we should be for this time of year. 90, our record high, and that was set back in 2001. 48 this morning. 51 is where we should be. And 35, our record low, set in 1975. We did pick up a trace of precipitation. That may be adjusted when we get back again with you next week, but not a whole lot of shower activity in the Wenatchee area proper. We're still at 3 inches for the year, and that goes back to January 1st, a little over 6/10 now below where we should be for this time of year. Sunrise 5:14 this morning, and the sun sets tonight at 8:42. All right, get you into that forecast now. Here you go for Saturday. Temperatures a lot like today, maybe just a little bit cooler. 67s for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 66 degrees in Quincy tomorrow, 64s for Wenatchee, Eniat, and Chelan. A little warmer, 66 up in Omak. The cool spot tomorrow, and it's a little cool for this time of year. Lake Wenatchee with a high of around 60 degrees. All right, taking a look at tonight now. Partly cloudy skies, still under the influence of this large area of high pressure, but there is a low just to the north of that will affect our weather as we get into Saturday. Going to be a little breezy tonight with low temperatures mainly in the mid-40s. For Saturday, low pressure up in Saskatchewan and that high pressure ridge nosing in, going to kick up the winds on Saturday. Some cooler air too coming in from the northwest. We'll see highs tomorrow generally in those mid-60s. For Sunday, partly cloudy skies as that high pressure ridge comes back into the Pacific Northwest, pushes that low into eastern Montana. We're talking highs near 70 for Sunday, so by all means, boy, get out and enjoy the beautiful weather, and it's going to get even nicer as we get into into Monday. We will see a nice southwesterly flow of air, mostly sunny skies, and we're talking highs in the mid to upper 70s. Some of you folks in our viewing area will touch that 80-degree mark on Monday. And then for Tuesday, back to those breezy conditions. We'll see mostly sunny skies, cooler temperatures, highs in the low 70s for Tuesday, so it really won't be bad the first part of next week. Getting you into Wednesday, we're still going to have to deal with a little bit of that wind. The good news, mostly sunny skies on Wednesday. We'll call it fair with highs again in the low 70s, and you can see right here in central Washington, we're going to see a little bit of those breezes. And then by the end of our forecast into late next week on Thursday, there's our friend once again. High pressure, some breezy conditions could occur in the afternoon on Thursday. We'll call it seasonal, though, seasonal with high temperatures on Thursday into those mid 70s. All right, your 7-day forecast now, 46 overnight tonight. A little dip in our temperatures tomorrow with windy conditions and 64, and then we'll see that slow warm up Sunday into Monday. Our Memorial Day Monday looks beautiful, mostly sunny and 77, and then back to the breezy conditions on Tuesday and Wednesday, highs in the low 70s, sunny and seasonal on Thursday with high temperatures then around 73 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. Happy finally Friday. After splitting 4 games in New York, the Mariners are in Washington to face the Nationals in the first of a 3-game set today. Seattle dropped the finale of that series to the Yankees yesterday, managing just 3 hits in a 5-0 decision. George Kirby on the mound this afternoon. That game on right now on Root Sports Northwest. Well, despite yesterday's loss, Seattle remains 3 games in front of Texas in the American League West. Rangers were swept by Philadelphia yesterday, falling 5-2. Houston was idle and is 4.5 games back. Oakland and L.A. are tied for last after the A's beat Colorado in 11 innings, 10-9. Organized team activities, or OTAs, continue for the Seahawks in Renton. Challenge facing old and new players alike is the installation of brand new offense and a brand new defense with a change in the coaching staffs. Quarterback Geno Smith says it's a challenge, but one he's glad to accept.
Yeah, just more learning, a little bit more studying. Obviously, a new system, new coordinator, new everything. We're changing the guard here, and so for me, just studying and getting with the guys. A lot of extra meetings with the receivers, running backs, O-line, talking through some things, making sure that we're prepared when we get out here for practice. And so far it's been good. It's just a matter of repetition. Because it's all new, fairly new to all of us. I think Jack's the only guy, Jack Westover, he was already in this system. But for the most part, everyone's learning a new system, and we're all pretty much starting at the same spot. And so, like, for us, just talking about things that we may not understand with the coaches or gaining some clarity if we need it, whether that's from me or, from one of the coaches. And that's something that we're just continuing to work on together, just kind of learning this thing, and then obviously wanting to get out here on the practice field, execute, and then be able to coach off of that.
Coach Mike McDonald comes to Seattle after coaching defense in Baltimore with the Ravens. Newly acquired safety Rayshawn Jenkins says he's loving the scheme being presented by the staff.
Oh, the defense is really creative. It's a lot of thinking, but, we're professionals, so, that just comes with the game. But it'll be, I think, challenging for opposing offenses to kind of figure out what we're in. If you go back and watch just like the Baltimore film and everything like that, you'll see how difficult it was for any quarterback in the league to kind of get anything on them. Every play, every movement on the offense, every shift, every motion, something has to be communicated. We're never just sitting back in one defense. So it's really creative, really fun defense, but you got to be on the details.
Seattle's preseason schedule was released this week. It includes 3 games in August, starting with a trip to L.A. to face the Chargers in the 10th. They'll visit the Titans and finish with the Browns before beginning the regular season September 8th against the Broncos. While the NHL nears the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Western Hockey League celebrates Moose Jaw winning the Memorial Cup, Wenatchee Wild are preparing for next season. Wenatchee chose 13 players in the recent WHL draft. Assistant GM and Associate Head Coach Chris Clark joined Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, saying the scouting staff did a great job teeing up this draft.
Liz and Lee have spent, and along with 5 other regional scouts throughout British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. They've been out all year while we've been playing. They've been out in different events watching this particular age group and putting lists together and having meetings. And then when you get, about a week to 2 weeks before the draft, you start to compile a list of, your top, however many it was, let's say 250. I don't know the exact number, but. And they've been writing reports on these kids since back in September, and so then you get that list together, and then you kind of have an understanding. And I got to give these guys credit. I was lucky. One benefit from losing early was that I got to go to a couple events late, one in Alberta and one in BC. And to see the work that our scouts had done was incredible. You rate your kids and where you see them, and then they give me the packet as we're watching the kids, and I can see how they have all these kids rated, and they were dead on all these kids. And
of the 13 selections, 5 were on the defensive side of the rink. The Wild are busily preparing for their second season in the Western Hockey League. It was a, by the way, short stay for Cashmere at the State 1A softball tournament. The Bulldogs fell to Seton Catholic 10-0 yesterday, and Richland had its season come to an end. Other softball, Eastmont had a game this morning in the State 4A tournament in Richland, falling to Jackson 5-1. The Wildcats were to play Glacier Peak in an afternoon loser-out game. Moses Lake also dropped to the consolation bracket after a 17-0 loss to Emerald Ridge. This morning, the Mavericks were facing Puyallup in a loser-out game this afternoon. Tumwater shut out Ephrata in the first round of the State 2A tournament, 14-0 this morning in Selah. Next up for the Tigers was to be an Enumclaw matchup this afternoon. Othello was facing Olympic this morning and would play either Kingston or Cedar Woolley later on in the day. Yakima is the site for the State 2B softball tournament. Lake Roosevelt defeated Liberty Spangle 3-1 in a loser-out game this morning. Okanagan was facing Toledo this afternoon. Elmira Cooley Heartline's baseball team is in the Final Four of the State 1B tournament in Ephrata. The Warriors are facing Nacelle this afternoon in the semifinals. Win and they'll play either DeSales or Liberty Christian in the championship tomorrow night at 7. Lose, they'll play for 3rd or 4th tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Well, the Cascade boys soccer team has just 1 loss and 1 tie on the season. Hopes to win 2 more matches this weekend. The Kodiaks are in Renton to play Overlake in the semifinals of the State 1A tournament tonight at 7. Win and they'll play for the state title tomorrow night at 6 after the winner between Royal and Vashon Island. Lose and they'll play for 3rd or 4th at 1:15. Well, the spring sports season culminates with other state championships as well coming up this weekend. State track and field championships are being held in Tacoma and Yakima. Best of the state in 2A, 3A, and 4A are at Mount Tahoma High School today and tomorrow. The 1B, 2B, 1A championships being held at Zeffel Stadium in Yakima. Also, the state tennis championships are being served up in Kennewick, Seattle, and Yakima today and tomorrow. The 4A tournament is in Tri-Cities. The 2A tournament being held at the Nordstrom Center in Seattle. 1B, 2B, 1A tournaments are being held in Yakima. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, take time out and remember those who gave so much so that we might be free on this Memorial holiday. We will see you again on Tuesday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us. We will be off on Monday, and please have a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend.